Hello there, my name is Martin Henley. This is the Effective Marketing Content Extravaganza. And if you're new here, you might be surprised to learn that I am on a mission to give you everything you need to be more successful in your business. Providing, of course, that what you need to be more successful in your business is to know more about and be implementing more efficiently, more enthusiastically, and more effectively sales and marketing, which is, of course, what you need if you need to be more successful. You need more customers more profitably. So I'm here giving you everything I know about sales and marketing as part of the What the series. I pull in anyone I can find with experience to share that will support you to be more successful in your business as part of the Talk Marketing series. I react to the very best and the very worst of marketing content on the internet. We pull in Melanie Farmer every other week and we look at the marketing news and speculate wildly about what that might mean for you in your business, in your marketing career. And the new thing is I am reviewing all sorts of marketing books, marketing services, marketing tools, marketing softwares, so I can work out what's good and what's not, so you don't have to. You can just go to the very good stuff. So if that sounds like it might be interesting and useful, please God tell me it does, then you should take a second to like, share, subscribe and comment and get involved, because that will give us the motivation to continue on this epic journey. Now, today is marketing review, so I have something to review for you, and it is a book. And the book is called Influence, and it is by the quite brilliant Warren Cass. Now, I have to make a disclaimer here, because whilst I did buy this book with my own money, whilst I did read it with my own eyes and come to my own conclusions with my own mind, I don't think it would be entirely honest to tell you that I am not under the influence of Warren Cass. Since I interviewed Warren 13 or 14 months ago, my life has got markedly better. Warren has introduced me to his network, who are some quite brilliant people. And not only that, he has also introduced me to some of his clients, and they have engaged me to do some work, which has led to me invoicing them and being paid some money. So is this influencing my review of his brilliant book, Influence? I would say, how can it possibly not? How could it possibly not? But in the most positive way, because I think what's going on here is that Warren is walking the walk. He does what he says you should do in his book, and it has the effect that it influences people around him, I think, in the most positive and generous ways. So I would go so far as to say now that Warren is a friend. We've met a couple of times. We've spoken more than a couple of times about interesting and important things, the way of the world, what's going on for us, etc., etc. So I would describe Warren at this stage as a friend. And that, of course, is going to influence the way I review his book, but I think only in the most positive way. Warren does what he writes about, and it is extraordinarily effective. So I think we can short circuit this whole process. You should go and read Warren's book. Before we think about that, I need to give you more of a sense about what's going on here. So we should start probably with the question, who is this book for? Now, the good news is that Warren makes this extraordinarily easy for us. I think this is his approach to influencing people, is to make it incredibly easy for people to be influenced by you, to want to hear your talk, read your book, engage you as a supplier, all of these things. So what he tells us is that you should read this book if you want to be more successful. I would imagine you do. If you believe your reputation can make or break you, your career or your business, I think that's probably true. If you think that the path to success is easier with influential friends or contacts, 100%. Warren demonstrates that every single day. If you understand that social proof is more important today than ever before, if you believe you would make more progress in life if you improve the quality of your network, and if you know that with more influence, you would win new clients, get promotions, attract people to you, etc., etc. Now, the reason I think this is important is because the premise of this book, you know, there have been lofty writers have gone before Warren. I'm thinking Dale Carnegie, How to Make Friends and Influence People. I'm thinking about Cialdini and the quite brilliant Psychology of Influence. So there are other authors that have gone before him. But the premise of this book is that this is updated now. The idea of influence is updated for the digital world. And what Warren says in this book is that this is the best opportunity anyone has ever had in the world to be known by people and to be influencing people because of where the internet and digital technology has taken us. But what's important here, and I don't know the exact chronology, but this was published around 2017, and 2017 is about the time where we saw the rise of the social media influencer or the Instagram influencer. So I think what's important to establish here is that this isn't about that. This isn't how you become a social media influencer or an Instagram influencer. This isn't how you get a free stay in a hotel or a free spa day or a free meal in a restaurant. This is much more for people, I think, who are serious people, who are in their career, and they are interested to be exerting more influence. Like, how do they exert more influence? How do they become more influential? Those kinds of people who are in a career or maybe running their own business, that, I think, is who this book is for. So I think it's important to establish that at the very outset. So if you are in your career, if you are a serious career-minded, business-minded kind of person, I think this book is for you. If you're interested to get a free spa day, I don't think this book is going to help you in any way, shape or form. You should read it anyway and maybe become more serious. That might be a good idea. So the way this book is structured is it's structured around, is it called an acronym? It's structured around the word picky. Let's put it like that. So what Warren tells us we need to be thinking about if we want to be more influential is the people around us that we need to influence, the image that we portray online and offline, how we communicate to exert influence, the knowledge that we have, and the person that we are. So that arrives us with this, is it an acronym, picky. So for Warren, this is about people, image, communication, knowledge, and then the sort of person that you are. And I think this is really interesting. We'll come back to this a little bit later, because some people think that by the time you are trying to be more influential, then maybe it becomes a little bit contrived. Now, what this book ends up being is quite powerful. The way it's structured is it's structured around people, influence, people, image, communication, knowledge, and you. So that's the structure. So those are the 5 kind of main titles. But what it comes down to, if we actually look at the table of contents, is lots and lots and lots of opportunities within those broad headings to develop your influence. So, for example, when we come to people, he's telling us about our network. He's talking about the law of reciprocity, how you become a connector, how you build your credibility through your associations, how you identify and approach other influencers, how you develop powerful partnerships, how you create advocacy. So what this actually ends up being is like a machine gun position. So each of these chapters is broken down then into 7 or 8 or 9 more opportunities of what exactly that thing is, what that opportunity is, the benefit of realizing that opportunity, how to realize that opportunity, and then an opportunity to think about what that might mean for you and how to do it. So it's literally, what is the opportunity? What is the benefit? How do you realize the benefit? Have a think about it. And I'm not even joking. This is like machine gun fire. So each of these sections within these chapters might only be 8 or 9 pages long. And so what it is a really strong, really directed guide. Like, here's the thing, here's the opportunity, here's the benefit, here's how you do it. Think about what it means for you, which I think is really powerful, because what I think it becomes then is not something that you have to read throughout over and over again, but I think it becomes something that you can refer back to. And you can start thinking, okay, I'm thinking about network. Like, what is the benefit of networking? How do I go about networking more effectively? How would I go about actually implementing that for myself or starting that for myself? So it is like machine gun fire. Now, I'm one of those readers. I'm one of those people who is a little bit competitive. So when I read, like in books, when I was a kid, it was like, how quickly can I get through this book? And the nice thing about this is that you start reading, and within, I don't know what the actual time is, but maybe 4 or 5 minutes, you've done a section within one of these chapters. And within 30 or 40 minutes, you've done a chapter. So it makes it really easy. It's really accessible is the word that I'm probably looking for. So you could pick this up at any time in the future, and you can open the page out. Okay, I need to be thinking about network. What's the benefit of networking? How do I do it? How do I get started? So it's a really interesting, it really is like machine gun fire. It is like bam, 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 bam. Here's all you need to do. And the other thing that's really interesting and useful is it talks about how you progress into these things. Is that the way that I want to say it? So, for example, when Warren is talking about, in the chapter on knowledge, he's talking about become a writer. But it isn't just write a book. It's how you progress as a writer. So if you wanted to progress as a writer, what you might do is get more active in posting on social media, for example. So now you are writing posts, like social media posts. And then what you might do is bring those ideas together and create them into blog posts. And then by the time you are comfortable, happy doing that, and you're getting reasonable feedback that what you're doing is good, then you might want to start thinking about writing, producing articles for magazines, for example. And then once you've been on this progression, you might decide that you actually want to produce a book and become an author, which is, of course, a great way to increase your influence. So that is kind of the approach to all of these things. So public speaking is a great way to grow your influence. And he walks you through the baby steps, like you're going to be scared. So maybe try doing these very basic things in the first instance. So this is a very practical, very accessible, very motivating, I would say, way to actually think about all of these different opportunities to grow your influence and how you actually go about starting that. And the premise, I think, I don't know if he says this explicitly, but the premise of the book is kind of you are influencing already. Like you might be influencing, there might be people who hate you. You're influencing those people negatively. There might be people who love you. You're influencing those people positively. So if you are influencing, then what the book invites you to do, I think, is be much more mindful and directed about the effect that that influence has. And really, what the book wants you to do, or what Warren wants you to do, I think, is be on a mission. So he says at one point in the book that serendipity is never a great plan. Like getting lucky is never a great plan. So what the book does always is it shows you the opportunity and it gives you the steps that you need to start realizing that opportunity and the motivation to do it. But it's not about luck. You know, you could say it was lucky that I was introduced to Warren Cass. But actually, the benefit, the huge benefit that I've had from the podcast that I've done is I've had some amazing conversations. But the networking has been the most amazing benefit because I've been introduced to Warren. I've been introduced to people in his network. I've been introduced to people in the States, in Australia, all over the world. And it's that networking that has been the benefit. But the benefits that have come, the customers, the clients that Warren has introduced me to have come from the fact that I was doing the work already. You know, I was busy, I was engaging. So I might have got lucky that I got to Warren, I got to other people. But the point he makes is that luck isn't a plan. Like a plan is, and what do they say? The harder I work, the luckier I get. So that's kind of the premise. And the other premise is, as I say, you are influencing people already. So maybe just think a little bit about the influence that you have. Now, what's interesting to me about this is I'm not any kind of religious or spiritual kind of a person, but it seems to me that sometimes the universe delivers you exactly what you need. And I am thinking, you know, I've been on this content kind of mission for a couple of years now, but I'm thinking I want to engage more with the world. I want to be more influential. I want to discover what it is that I really want to say. And so for me right now, this was the perfect time for me to read this book because I am thinking like about the effect that I can have on the world. And that brings us then to the why in Picky, which is you, because I think the feeling is, and the reality has been, maybe around things like linguistic program, maybe around just the way that sales and marketing people are perceived in the world, that there is something a bit contrived about wanting to be more influential than you are, and trying and being more mindful and more planned about how influential you are. So Warren talks about the sort of person that you should be if you want to be more influential, in the Why is for You chapter. So he says, over the last 48,000 words or so, we have explored some of the practical and easy to implement strategies you can use to increase your influence, how you deal with people and form relationships, how you portray yourself both in person and online, how you communicate with others both in writing and speech, and lastly, how you demonstrate knowledge and share your ideas. So to close this book, I would like to share with you some of the personal qualities I most respect in effective influencers and why. You may already have these qualities in abundance, but how well are they reflected in your actions and daily interactions with others? So now the opportunity is to be more mindful about the way you develop yourself personally. So before you go out and start influencing the world, maybe check yourself and make sure that is the influence that you want to have. Is that what I want to say? It isn't necessarily what I want to say. What I want to say is, well, I'll give you some of these attributes and you will get a sense maybe of what Warren means rather than what I think about this. So, for example, for Warren, effective influencers are authentic. And that is what I'm interested in. It's like, how do you authentically go out in the world and exert a positive influence if you are being so mindful? You know, if you've read this book and it's given you all this direction about these are the opportunities to be more influential, how do you do that and be authentic at the same time? So for Warren, influencers are authentic. They are futurists. They think about the future. They leverage technology. They are courageous. They are great communicators. They have integrity. They have humility. They are focused, prepared, confident, inspirational. They are passionate, resilient, connected, decisive, adaptive, charismatic, generous, good, have great intuition, good intuition. They are persistent. They are disciplined. They are accountable. They are visionaries, positive, great with other people, open-minded. They reciprocate, and they understand everything in this book. The point of this is, the realization I've had today when I'm actually thinking about what do I want to say about this book is that Warren is those things. You know, especially if I think he is generous. He has extended enormous generosity to me. Charismatic, definitely. Courageous. He's a great communicator. He has integrity. So I think then the final lesson of this book is to be like, to authentically be maybe a better person. Because then if you are authentically being a better person, then people will be attracted to you and the opportunities will come to you and you will more likely realize those opportunities. But even that seems to me to be contrived. I think that the strong message that I was left with after I'd read the last chapter is just be a better person. Because if you're a better person, you will attract better things without wanting to get kind of spiritual about it. You will attract better things if you are a better person. Now, because Warren walks the walk and talks the talk, he's been given kind of testimonials by other people or reviews by other people. So let's have a look at those very quickly because some of these are really quite interesting. So Guy Rigby, head of entrepreneurial services at Smith & Williamson, says this book is a triumph, a thoroughly relevant, engaging and well-written must-read for anyone who wants to win friends and influence people. I think we know where that reference comes from. Ren Kapoor says, in an age where building a trusted personal brand matters more than ever before, Warren has created a roadmap that's packed with ideas and easy to action. Honestly written and teaches skills that are invaluable for life. That is 100% true. This is a roadmap. This is incredibly directive. And the ideas are not only easy to action, he also layers in a little bit of motivation for why you should do it. So Barnaby Winter, friend of the show, tells us that in a world increasingly focused on artificial intelligence, it's important that we do not lose sight of our emotional intelligence. This book is a must-read for anyone who wants to understand their own power of influence to improve the world around them. Every page is thought-provoking with numerous practical applications, even for the most seasoned of influencers. Enjoy the discovery for yourself. Now, that is 100% true. And I think that is the intent of the book, is to empower people to influence and improve the world around them. That's 100% true. Who else have we got here? We have got Nigel Risner. At last, a book on influence written post-internet, which contains practical and easy to apply strategies. It's 100% true. Whether you just want that promotion or to be known and a known authority in your field, Warren has created your very own blueprint. So that comes back to what I was saying. This is for, I think, serious people in their career. How do you have more influence in your career or your life? Not people who are looking for a free spa day. Robert Craven. Now, Robert Craven, it just makes the point again, introduced me to Warren Cass. So this is how, when I was networking, this is how I've networked and has led me to Warren. So Robert Craven says, Warren's book is a bang up-to-date exploration of what influence is and how to use the concept to your advantage. It is about using influence respectfully and is free of the old Machiavellian approaches. A must-read for anyone trying to get on and make the progress they feel they deserve. 100%. 100%. So that's what I'm saying about this, getting away from this contrived, manipulative idea of influencing people or forcing people or conning people, like maybe with like neuro-linguistic programming or those kinds of ideas. This is like a straightforward, straight up, how do you do these things? In this comprehensive book, Warren uncovers how you can build your influence in today's technological world. He absolutely does that. That's from Grant LeBoeuf, introduced to us by Warren and appeared on the show, I don't know, like a year ago. Andy Gwynn, friend of the show. This book is the manual if you want to be successful in your relationships, business and personal, your communication, marketing, sales, business meetings, or any interaction with other people. Warren has written it from a position of years of understanding, study, and practice. It explains every single topic you need to improve your influence with others. It also wonderfully explains all of the principles in many ways, including much quoted research, practical worldwide examples, statistics, and philosophy. This is my carry-around reference book to dip into before any important meeting or to help with any business project where I need a competitive edge. It should be yours too. I think that is seriously true. The last reference that he gives us is a brilliant book written by a brilliant man to help ambitious people create brilliant success. But then I am biased, and that is from Susan Mannon, who is Warren's mum. So the question then becomes, should you buy and should you read this book? And I would 100% say, if you are a serious person in your career, in your business, in your life, and you are looking to exert more mindfully, more thoughtfully, if you're thinking about the effect that your influence has, then 100% I think you should read this book. And then I think you should carry it around with you like Andy Gwynn does and pull it out if you are at a juncture where you're thinking, okay, I need to do something with my website, I need to do something with my social, I need to do something with my speaking, I need to do something with writing a book. Then you can pull this out of your pocket, you can go straight to the page, and within 7 or 8 pages, Warren will have given you what the opportunity is, what the benefits are, how you realize those benefits, and get you thinking about how you actually do that for yourself, how it could actually impact yourself. Now, the last thing I want to say about this, is the very last thing that I want to say about this, is that I think, well, this was updated for the digital age, for the internet age, 2017. We're now going into 2023, and it seems to me that the issue is now that this is due for an update. Maybe not this, but there needs to be more thinking on this. So because, and I've been trying to express this to Warren in the clumsy way that I express things, but he just keeps telling me that I'm engaged in conspiracy theory and whataboutism. There might be a little bit of that going on. But I think if anyone's interested in the idea of influence in 2022, then what we've seen in the last couple of years is just how influenceable, if that's a word, how easily influenced people are, or maybe something different, actually how influenced people are because of everything that's gone on around. Like, since then, we've had the social dilemma. So we've seen how maybe social media platforms are manipulating people. We've had now the pandemic, and we've seen the effect of that. We've now got the war in Ukraine. And what strikes me is that people have enormously different perspectives, opinions on all of these things. Like, just enormously, I don't even need to say what they are. You will have a sense. Like, some people think that I don't even need to go there. I don't even need to go there. So it seems to me that if we are interested in the subject of influence, but I'm thinking maybe more about the psychology of influence. So maybe it's more to do with what Cialdini is doing in his book rather than what Warren is achieving here in his book. Warren's book is about, this is how you become more influential as a serious individual in your business, in your career. And Cialdini is more about the psychology of influence. I think what I'm saying in my clumsy way is that I think now is a really interesting time for influence and how influenced people are. But the reason I clearly haven't been able to engage Warren on this subject is because that's not the mission that he's on. He's on a completely different mission. And so it's no wonder that he has just dismissed me or not quite understood what it is that I'm saying. This is a quite brilliant book. If, Warren, you would like to read, I think we should call it Deep Influence, if we would like to write a book called Deep Influence about just how influenceable, easily influenced, or how influenced people are, I'd love to co-author that book with you. I'm motivated. I'm going to be more influential in 2023. If you are looking to be more influential in 2023, you should get yourself a copy of this book. You should read it. You should put it in your bag. You should carry it around with you. And when things come up, you should dip into it and access the brilliance of this writing from Warren Cass. Thank you for getting to the end of this video. If you found it interesting, useful, any of those things, maybe you should take a second to like, share, and subscribe, and comment and get involved, because that will give us the motivation to continue on this epic journey. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're watching this before Christmas, have a great Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, have a great whatever it is that you're doing. I will be here the next time you come along. Thank you.